16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Shankara Bhasya. So first, what he mentioned, there are two, three arguments. Why can't you also have karma and jnana together? And that was refuted because darkness cannot, remove darkness. Karma is always having at its root some sort of a faulty understanding of who we are. We are thinking of ourselves as limited selves trying to have certain goals. That's fine for the intermediate period, but it cannot give us complete liberation unless we realize what's the nature of our inner self, who we are. And that particular pratiti, I am myself, there is nothing else. Aham Brahmasmi. I am there, and I am that alone exists. Unless we have that sort of a thing, whatever we do, we shall not get that complete, that dissociation of the umbilical cord with avidya or ignorance. Now there is some kind of an argument that look here, you don't need to do this jnana sadhana. I'll give you a solution. This Purvapakya is saying that you don't have to do anything. You first have to stop doing kamya karmas, no work for going to heaven or anything, no pratisiddha karma. You will not do anything which is prohibited by the tradition, like hingsa, misbehaving with others, being rude, being uncareful, whatever. No abhaksha bhakshanam. So you will, whether your intake of food or your kaya, vak, mana, all these ways you will do what is bihita karma, no pratisiddha karma. And in bihita karma, no kamya karma, because even good results have a bonding, impact, because you have to do phala bhoga, so you have to come back to encast as punya phala. So neither you are interested in punya phala nor papa phala. What else you want to do? He's saying just do nitya karmas. And finally, what? Remove yourself from raga dvesha, because in case you have raga dvesha, there is a fear that you may be reborn. So the rebirth depends on whether you have papa, so you have to come here to be punished. You have punya, you have to come here to get the good results. Or you have raga dvesha, so that papa punya jana, in whatever that trigunatmika thing, you will have to be reborn. If you actually stay away from all these three and just do your nitya karmas, then your purva, whatever sanchita karma is there, that will get nullified by the nitya karma. How? He's saying when you do nitya karmas, like waking up early morning every day, taking a bath, doing sandhya vandanam, worshipping Lord Shiva, doing tarpana to the forefathers, all these things, if you do without any desire, without any aspiration, then the papa, this particular ayasa, nitya karma janita ayasa, dukkha, the strain and stress that you are taking upon yourself, will wash away the impact of all purva papas. Because the problem is that only prarabdha phala you are enjoying this life. Sanchita karma is removed only through Atmajnana, Bhagavan says. Agami karma aslesa vinaso. So there will be no connectivity with future karmas, and all the past Sanchita karmas are destroyed. That's how the Atmajnani gets liberation. That is the fundamental foundation. This guy says there will be no connectivity with future papa karma, because you will stay out from raga dvesha. No pratisiddha karma, no kamya karma. Future life is going to be a very peaceful life. So far, your sanchita karma, that hard disk which carries a lot of papas, that is nullified through nitya karma, because nitya karma requires a bit of physical strain. Through straining, you are nullifying those papa karmas. And that will be discussed today. And he's saying that all these things actually not acceptable. So we are going to start from yetu ahu nityani karmani dukkha rupatvad purva krita durida karmanam phalam eva natu tesam swarupa vitirekena anyata phalam asti asrudatvad jivanadi nimittecha vidhanat. So nitya karma, what are the vidhana vakyas, vidhi vakyas? What are the injunctions in the Vedas? It says Javat Jivat Agnihotram Juhyat. You should do Agnihotra, so small fire ritual in the morning and in the evening. When a person gets married, he has a son and his hair is still dark. The Vedas says, those days boys used to get married very young, about 18, 19 or 20, 21. So they'll have a child, 22, 23. Hair is pretty dark. They were taking good food and they didn't have all this chlorination of water or stuff like that. They'll start doing Agnihotra. They have to do it till they die, till they become invalid. They have to do it. So he's saying, Yetu ahu nityani karmani dukkha rupatvat, because there is some dukkha there. There is some physical strain you have to undertake in. Purvakrita durita. Durita is papa. Purvakrita, whatever, that is sanchita here. Karmanam phalam. So this nitya karma you are doing because you have done some papa, so you are doing it in order to nullify them. Eva. Natu tesam swarupa vitirekana anyat phalam asti. So far, nitya karmas are concerned, they do not have any specific good result or bad result. If you don't do it, there will be pratyavaya. There is no good result, asrutatvad. The Shastra doesn't mention it. Jivanadi nimittecha vidhanat. And he's saying that so far you are living, you have to do these nitya karmas, like taking a bath, doing a bit of chanting and stuff like that. Even if you don't do it, even secularly speaking, you have to do a few daily activities, which are vidivadha. You have to do those things, otherwise you are not going to be accepted. I mean, so Shastriya point of view, these are as per the scriptures. Now, Siddhanti, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, no, that is not correct. Aprabritanam phaladana asambhavat. Now, when you are reborn, you are having this life. The prarabdha karma is responsible for who you are and what you are doing. And this nitya karma and other things are required because of whatever social station you have. So he's saying, aprabritanam, only arabdhanam karmanam phalam ishyate. That will happen here. Drishyate. But to something which is anarabdha, it's not part of prarabdha, it's part of sanchita, it's still there in the external hard drive. It's not part of the RAM. So it will not affect your computer. It's in the external. When it gets connected, the data will come in. Okay. So he's saying it's part of an external chip. No, aprabritanam karmanam anarabdhanam karanam phaladana asambhavat. They cannot give phala because once it fructifies, it matures, then only papa punya phala it starts giving. Dukkha phala vishesha anupapatti cha syat. Then nitya karmas, that why nitya karmas are a result of a certain papa, that's nowhere. Where did you get all this? That he will refute now, one by one. Yad uktam purva janma krita duritanam karmanam phalam nitya karma anushtana ayasa dukkham bhujyate iti tad asat. The Siddhanti, Shankaracharya is saying that you are arguing that whatever in earlier births we have done some papas, durita karmas, and their phala, the result thereof, is nitya karma anushtana ayasa. Ayasa is the stress, the effort you do, and associated dukkha, whatever physical pain you are undertaking, bhujyate. So that you are reaping the bad effects of the papas earlier. So therefore, that is asat, that is not true. He'll say why. Nahi marana kale phaladanaya anankurita bhutasya karmanah phalam anya karmarabdhe janmani upavujyate iti upapattihi. Now, when we leave this body, or when we left our body during our last birth, certain karmas mature. So it's called, they start showing their shoots, right? So there is a fertility which is happening and shoots are coming out. As a result of which you'll go to Swarga, and because of the calculation by the supercomputer called Ishvara, you find out, okay, this fellow has done this Papa Punya this life, and there are overload of Papa Punya there. Okay, this life he hasn't done enough Punya, but he had done a lot of Punya. Because of some Papa, we had sent him to a low station, but he has done some reasonable work, no negative activities. So he'll be reborn as a result. Even though he has done a few Papas in this life, overload of Punya there in the hard disks, and therefore let's send him to a very culturally rich family, and so that he can study and do everything. But because of the papa of this life, he will suffer a lot of competition in school and maybe in workplace, something like that. Maybe he'll have some bad habits because of which he'll suffer ill reputation, something like that. So he's now all the purva krita durita phala, that's anarabdha, and there is a certain set of causes, certain set of karmas as a result of which we have got this body. How do you relate all the past papa karmas with this life, which is a result of a certain set of purva papa phala, which have started giving results during the end of our last life? Okay, he's saying if that hasn't started, suddenly in the next birth, you cannot say all the papa of all billions of births that we have been through is going to get exhausted through some nitya karma. That's not acceptable. Anyatha, swarga phala upavogaya agnihotradi karmarabdhe janmani naraka karma bhola upabhoga anupapatti na syat. What he's saying is, because we have done a lot of papa karmas and we have done some punya karmas in last birth, and therefore somebody gives you a birth in a very cultured family with a lot of tradition and stuff like that. So you will do Agnihotradi Shubha Karma. And also you will study some good things and you will go to a university, do a PhD. He's saying all Papa Phalas can give you result through your Nitya Karmas. You're basically saying you have done some Papa 3 births before. And then this birth, instead of doing Agnihotra, they'll also send you to Naraka Phala. So they'll put you, a life will be full of hell. This is not logical. There is a set of activities they are fructifying. How can you connect them with all your past bad karmas? That is nausea. So he said Narkaphala also can be possible. A good cultural life with a lot of debauchery and ill reputation and physical struggle, financial penury, all at the same time. They are mutually contradictory. That also will be possible. Tasya Nitya Karmanaha Durita Dukha Visesa Falatva Anuvatteja Anekesu hi Duritesu Sambhavachu Bhinna Dukha Sadhana Faleshu Nitya Karma Anusthana Ayasa Dukha Matra Faleshu Kalpyamaneshu Dwanda Rogadi Vada Animittam Nahi Sakyade Kalpayitum Nitya Karma Anusthana Ayasa Dukham Eva Purba Krita Durida Phalam Na sirasa pasana bahanadi dukkhamiti. Now there is a long sentence. We'll break it up. So what is he saying? That look here, we are having some phala, some dukkha we are suffering during this life. Okay. Now, on what basis are you saying that this nitya karma, the dukkha associated with doing nitya karma, like some physical strain and some mental strain, is having a logical correlation, cause-effect relationship with all papa karmas? What about other dukkhas we suffer in life? Like Dvanda Sahanam. Sometimes we suffer from heat, sometimes we suffer from cold, sometimes from privileges and richness, and somebody from penury, somebody from love, and sometimes from a breakdown in a relationship. These are all dukkhas, isn't it? You have a good relationship, you have a quarrel, then the relationship, you have a loving relationship, but breaks down. Both the ways you are having pain. How can you say all Purva Papas have something to do with the Nitya Karma we are having? What about all the Papas? That means, how do you explain human misery if you do not say the multiple Papas give rise to multiple miseries? That's logical. You are saying Nitya Karma alone are the outcome of all our Purva Papas, not acceptable. Like, for example, no sirasa pasani bahanadi dukkhamiti. So, for example, somebody is, because his dukkha, all past dukkhas are exhausted in the Nitya Karmas, now ask him to wear, carry a huge stone on his head. He should not suffer. Why? All his past papas are exhausted through Nitya Karmas. But that's not true. Aprakrutam cha idam uchyate nitya karmanusthana ayas dukkham purvakrita durita karma phalamiti. And then saying, what is the context in which we discussed? You yourself said, he will say in the last sentence, you yourself said that during this life, the all Purva Papas who have started giving results will get exhausted through the physical strain we are undertaking while doing Nitya Karmas. Okay. So now logically it means that there are a lot of Papa Karmas, some of them have matured. And therefore, when in this life we are explaining different forms of misery we go through, we will try to understand them in the light of a few Papa Karmas we have done in the past. Not all Papa Karmas can be related to a few dukkhas, and surely not related to only the dukkha, the form of dukkha we experience is because of our Nitya Karma performance. That is illogical. And then he's saying, whatever has not fructified, the prakarana, the context is of the actions, the papa karmas, the negative actions which are fructifying during this life. Now, you by mentioning sarva durita kshaya, that you are including the whole universe of papas in the past, the whole universal set of papa punya, is not logical. Aprasuta phalasya. Aprasuta means which hasn't started. Prasuta means born. Aprasuta means which is not yet born. So it will not give you. You have a lot of papa. It's quite possible, but they are not yet giving some results. You cannot do anything because some punya he's enjoying. When punya gets exhausted, then he'll start suffering the papas. Till then, despite all papas, he enjoys life. Aprasuta phalasya purvakrita duritasya khayo na upapadyate iti prakritam. So if it is not started giving results, that papa kya will not happen through some misery during this life. We may have to come back again. Tatra prasuta phalasya karmanaha phalam nitya karma anushtana ayasa dukkam aha bhavan. You yourself said in the last paragraph, we have referred to that. You had said in the beginning that those papas who have started giving results during this life, all of these will be exhausted through nitya karma and associated physical pain and stress and strain. That is okay. Maybe a concession we can give you. But what about all the sanchita karmas who have not yet fructified? How could they be exhausted by mere performance of nitya karmas? Aha Bhavan, na aprasuta phalasya. You have yourself haven't said that the phalas, the karma phalas, who haven't yet matured, can be exhausted during this life. अतः सर्वम एव कृतकृत पूर्वकृतम दुरितम प्रसूत फलम एव iti manyate bhavan. So you yourself have admitted that whatever papa phalas, papa karmas are there, only those who are matured can be explained with reference to the misery we undergo, either in any other location of life or during performance of the nitya karmas. Tato nitya karmanusthana ayasa dukkham eva phalamiti visheshanam ayuktam. Therefore, you cannot say that whatever karmas we have, the misery you are suffering, there is a logical correlation between all past karmas or the durita karmas and nitya karma janita ayasa dukkham. And then, upobhogena eva prasuta phalasya durita karmanaha kya upapattehe. Okay, nitya karma vidhi anarthya prasangacha. And then आप कह रहे हैं कि if a person does नित्य कर्म उससे जो दुख हो रहा है उसका पूर्व पाप का क्षय हो रहा है. तो the whole question is नित्य कर्म विधान क्यों करे? There is no need to have a Vedic injunction that one should do nitya karma. If he doesn't do it, he'll suffer. That's what Veda says. You are saying by doing it is exhausting purva papa. That is not logically acceptable. Why? Because the whole injunction will become fruitless. Because if he suffers in life, then all his purva papas will be exhausted. Why to do nitya karma? Okay. Kincha srutasya nityasya dukkham karmanah chet. Then if you say all the srutasya nityasya karmanah dukkham chet, all the nityas karmas, that is dukkha chet phalam. That dukkha is the phala of your purva papa. If you argue like this, nitya karma nushtana ayasad eva tad drishyate vyayamadivatad anyasya iti kalpana anupapattihi. Now what he's saying is, now look here, if you do some physical exercise, don't you have any physical stress and strain? Of course you have. So you do nitya karma, there is some physical stress and strain. Now this physical exercise we do wrestling, we do some jogging or some gymnastics, there will be some physical stress and strain. How can you say that this has a logical link with a lot of purva papas? You're doing it, you're suffering it there and then. It has no logical linkage, and that's a natural, accompanied some stress. It's very normal. Then you are saying purva papa will be over by doing this nitya karma. It's a very illogical stretching of the argument. जीवनादि निमित्ते च विधानात् नित्यानां कर्मणां प्रायश्चित्तवत् पूर्वकृत दुरीत फलत्व अनुपपत्तिः. Now, actually, what is the injunction in the Vedas? It says, so far you are alive, you should do your daily rituals. That is the statement. And there are also statements that if you are doing a certain yaga and there is a grihadaha, by mistake your house got burnt, and that's a big papa. So you have to do another yaga to compensate for it. If somebody has misbehaved with his elder sister or mother, there are some prayaschitta karmas. If you misbehave with your wife also, there are prayaschitta karmas. You have to do all these prayaschitta karmas. So you're saying jivanadi nimittis vidhanat nityanam karanam prayaschittava purvakruta durita phala tva anupapattihi. Now prayaschitta, the way prayaschitta karma you are doing, and because of some papa or whatever you are doing that, right? Some papa you have done and therefore you are doing it. But nitya karma is actually said, so far you are alive, you do. There is no reference to any papa karma. So how are you trying to establish? See, he's doing some hair splitting. It's a very compact argument he's making by taking all variables into discussion. So let's not get bored with it. We'll go through it. Yasmin papa karma nimitte yad vihitam prayaschitam Natu tasya papasya tata phalam. Okay. Somewhere some says that if you have by mistake killed an animal for no rhyme or reason, you had gone to do something and in the process by mistake you killed something. Okay. So you have caused a death. So you have to do some prayaschitta karma. Now, this prayaschitta karma, is it phala of that papa? No, it's just to compensate for any purva durita. In future, any durita phala bhoga, to rule that out, you are doing prayaschitta. It's not that prayaschitta karma and tad janita ayasa dukkham has nothing to do with the papa you did. Papa you did by mistake, error of judgment. Then, future, uttara bhabi, that papa phala bhoga asanka, you want to remove it. The apprehension that you will suffer some big humiliation in future because you have misbehaved with your mother or elder sister or wife at home and she has cursed you. So you want to do immediately a puja, you want to do a chandi patha and go on fasting, you ask for forgiveness, all these things you have in your mind. But is it this particular karma you are doing? Is it phala of that papa? No, phala of the papa is in future. You are afraid of it, that's why you are doing it. That's what he is saying it. Yasmin papa karma nimitte jad vihitam prayaschitam natu tasya papasya tata phalam atha tasya eva papasya nimittasya prayaschitta dukkham phalam jivanadi nimittam api nitya karma anusthana ayasa dukkham jivanadi nimittasya eva tat phalam prasyajyeta. Now, if you argue like this, that somebody has done some papa and the prayaschitta karma is doing, that is the result of that papa. Are you arguing like this? Okay. Now, this prayaschitta karma is as per a Vedic injunction for a particular papa, papa A, right? And the prayaschitta karma prescribed by the Vedas is A dash. Fine. Now, what is the injunction for the nitya karma? Yava jivet agnihotram juhya. So, what is the nimitta here? The very fact that you are alive, you have to do it. So, you are saying the nitya karma is a result of the jivana that you are having, or you are saying some purva papa. There will be confusion there. Okay? Naimittikatva avisisa. So, nitya and prayaschitta, what is the naimittika? There is no specific reason, and therefore, you cannot say that the naimittika for prayaschitta is different, for nitya karma different, nothing. It's an injunction. He's saying, so far you are alive, you have to do it. Okay. Kincha anya nityasya kamyasya cha agnihotradehe anusthana ayasa dukkhasya tulyatvat nitya anusthana ayasa dukkham eva purvakrita duritasya phalam na tu kamyanusthana ayasa dukkham iti visheso na asti iti tad api purvakrita durita phalam prasajyeta. Now he's putting another burden on the, he's putting one powerful argument after another on the neck of this Purvapaksha, this defense lawyer, to weaken him. What he's saying, okay, sir, you're talking about all this Nitya Karma. The Ayasa Dukkham is the result of Purva Papa and Durita Kshaya will happen. Fine. What about the Kamya Karmas? You want to build a house. You want to give a very good marriage to your daughter. You want to give very good education to your son. Okay? Or to your daughter. All these involves a lot of, these are Kamya Karmas. And then you do that Dasa Punnamasa Kamya Karma. There is a Nitya and there is a Kamya, both in Dasa Punnamasa. And they are done simultaneously. There are certain additional things which are done. But generally, same karma, if you do Sankalpa, it becomes Kamya. If you do Nitya without any specific Sankalpa, that becomes Nitya. Now, how do you explain this? The Kamya karmas, like Putrishti Yaga, like Karari Yaga for rains, there are several such rituals are prescribed in the Vedas. There is also Ayasa Dukha, there is some physical strain involved there, sitting in front of fire for 2-3 days. You do Vishwasanti Yagya, Soma Yagya. There are so many Yagyas. You are doing one of these Yagyas for future peace or happiness or fame or Swarga Prapti, whatever. And what about those? Are they also result of Purvakrita Papa? Now tell us, if that is the so, some people do Kamya Karma, others don't do it. There is a whole lot of confusion. This logical relationship you are establishing is without any basis. Okay? Tadapi Purvakrita Durita Phalam Prasajyeta. So one can also say that because the Purva Papa somebody is doing, building a house, or sending his daughter to a university, or donating to an ashram, or doing some nimit, some Kamya Karma, is doing a Satasandi or doing a Satarudra for some name and fame. And again, you will say because of Lord of Papa, he's doing this. The Shastra doesn't say it. Because of Purva Punya, you are interested in Punya Karma. Because of Purva Papa, you would be interested in Papa Karma. So if somebody is trying to do good, Bihita Kamya Karma, actually it's because of Purva Sukrita, not Duskrita. Therefore, how do you talk like that? Tathacha Sati Nityanam Phala Asravanat. And because you are arguing, because it's a refutation of another, that Arthapati Pramana. He's saying one person might argue, one particular lawyer, defense lawyer might argue, that नित्य कर्मों का कोई फल का श्रवण नहीं करेंगे तो पाप है, करने पर कोई पुण्य नहीं है specifically. There is no specific result which is associated with tad vidhana अन्यथा अनुपपत्ते. Then why it is prescribed? There must be some reason. And therefore, nitya anusthana ayasa dukkham purva durita phalam iti. Then you're saying, therefore, look here. Shastra says we have to do nitya karma. It doesn't say by doing nitya karma we'll get a house or a car or a dozen houses and anything. Nothing of that sort. We'll go to Swarga, nothing of that sort. And therefore, it is actually to remove the bad impact of Purva Krita Papa Karma. Because Arthapati I can remove. There is no Phala Shruti. So, but there is a prescription. There must be a reason, and that is Purva Papa Khyaya. I argue like this. He's saying no. That is also not logical. He'll explain how. Evam vidhana anyatha anubhapattehe anusthana ayasa dukkha vyatirikta phalatva anumana. Because he's saying, look here, I can actually do logical reasoning and do inferencing, anumana pramana, and say that other than the nitya karma, actually there is some positive result because of which you are doing it. Nityanam. And because it's a Vedanti, and Vedanti we believe that nitya karma, doing, waking up early, taking a bath, these are all for antakarana shuddhi. They have a big role to play in creating jnana and vairagya and, a swachha antakarana, therefore not completely useless. Virodhacha, and then there is also a contradiction there. What is the contradiction you say? Viruddham cha idam uchyate nitya karmani anushthyamane anyasya karmanaha anyasya papa karmanaha. Some alga pap karma, you have done it in the past. Phalam bhujyate iti abhyupagamyamane. If you argue like this, that because of some past papa karmas, you are suffering the stress and strain associated with doing nitya karma. If you argue like this, sa eva upabhoge nityasya karmanaha phalam. So then, nitya karma ka phal kya ho gaya? So it is suffering that you are undergoing, physical discomfort you are undergoing while doing it. That is the result. That's what you are saying. Okay. Iti nityasya karmanaha phalabhava iti sa viruddham uchyate. And then you said, you yourself are arguing, nitya karma doesn't have any additional phala. And therefore, let us presume that the nitya karma is to remove papa, purva papa. That is what you said. So, on the one hand, you are saying nitya karma is aimed to remove purva papa. So, that is the phala. That you had a loan you are repaying, that is the phala of that nitya karma. Then you are saying Veda doesn't say there is any phala of nitya karma. Who is contradicting you? I am not contradicting. You yourself are contradicting. On the one hand, you are imagining purva durita khyaya happens through the ayasa dukkha while doing nitya karma. That's your language, fine. So there is a phala. What is the phala? That doing nitya karma, removing papa. And then what did you say? Shastra says there is no visesa phala of nitya karma. This is a big visesa phala you are arguing yourself. So you are self-contradictory. So is refuted again. Iti nityasya karmana phalabhava iti cha viruddham uchyate. And then he is further going. Kincha kamyadi agnihotrado. There are certain kamya karmas. Like there are agnihotra, which is daily ritual. But there are certain agnihotra, certain other rituals which can be kamya also. Kamyadi agnihotrado anushtiyamane. When you are observing it, nityam api agnihotradi tantrena eva anushtitam. The same time, like for example, this is a good example which is given in Vedanta classes in Kailas and other places. Let's imagine there are a lot of sannyasis who read roughly about 2 chapters of Bhagavad Gita every day, 1 or 2 chapters they read every day. Now, there is a particular Guru Purnima, Shankara Jayanti. So, you know what we do here? We'll go and chant whole of Bhagavad Gita between 6:30 to 8:30. 2 hours, they'll finish the whole Bhagavad Gita. Right? Now, would you do separately your chapter that you're reading? You will not read it because you have finished the whole Bhagavad Gita. So that is taken care of that particular day. Similarly, when you are doing Agnihotra, Kamyataya, because you want to do a Kamya Karma, That particular day, the Agnihotra you are doing, Tantrena, in the same process, you will also do that. A few rituals, you will finish it. The same process. Now, Ayasa Dukkham, how will you separate? Ye Kamya Karma ka Ayasa Dukkha, I mean, a physical strain. You are sweating. How can you say this much of my sweat is meant for the Kamya part of Agnihotra? This much of sweating is meant for the Nitya Karma. And the sweating for Nitya Karma is removing my Purvakrita Papa. What kind of logic is it? You cannot do that kind of a distinction or separation. Kincha kamya agnihotrado anushtiyamane nityam api agnihotradi tantrena eva anushtita. Same time, in a process they are done. With that together, not separately. Iti tada ayasa dukkhena eva kamya agnihotradi phalam upakshina syat tat tantratvat. Then you will also say, because Purva Papa is getting reduced because of the Ayasa Dukkha or whatever physical strain you are taking for doing Nitya Karma, then the Agnihotra, the Phala also, whatever good thing you are expecting out of the Kamya part, and because of that Ayasa Dukkha, that also will get reduced, isn't it? So there will be some kind of a confusion. And then the result, that Agnihotra, the Phala also will get nullified. अथ काम्य अग्निहोत्रादि फलम अन्यद एव स्वर्गादि तद अनुष्ठान आयास दुखम अपि भिन्नम प्रसिद्ध्येत. And then what is the problem is that you do agnihotra, which is kamya, for going to heaven. This is a positive thing you are doing. Okay, tad anushtanam, that kamya karma anushtanam, you are doing that specific ritual. Ayasa dukkamapi, and that particular result, nitya karma janita dukkamapi, bhirna prasajyeta. And that nitya karma, you can say that this ayasa dukkha, the sweating is a result of kamya karma, is different from the sweating which is happening because of nitya karma. These are all imaginations of yours. Bhinam. Na cha tad asti drishta virodhat, because we don't see it like that. It's not there in experience, daily experience, when you're doing both the rituals simultaneously. Nahi kamya anusthana ayasa dukkhat kevala nityanusthana ayasa dukkham vidyate. And you cannot say that the sweating or the physical pain or the drain of energy which you're experiencing as a result of nitya karma is of one particular type. And the sweating which happens to you and the mental exhaustion which you face because of Agnihotra, same Agnihotra. More or less the process is same. But you are saying for this is Purva Papa, it's separate. That is separate. How do you say this? These are your own, your imaginations. So he is again defeated there. Kincha anyad avihitam apratisiddham cha karma tatkala phalam na tu sastra chodita pratisiddham va tatkala phalam. Now, there are certain rituals. There are certain karmas which are Shastra Chodita. Chodita means Vidhita, which is there. It's in the injunction is present in the Vedas. Okay. Now there are certain karmas which are not mentioning. Like you will play cricket. Is it mentioned in Vedas? No. Whether to play cricket or not, which is good or bad, is it mentioned? No. It is only saying early morning you will do Sandhya Vandanam. Lunch break they have, so you can do your quick Sandhya Vandanam, 15 minutes. Evening you have to have your clothes and other arrangements. You can do it. A lot of people do it. So if you are doing this, what is the result of that participation in a game, a match, football or cricket, or having an ice cream, for example? Okay, you shall not take non-vegetarian thing. If it says it's eggless, you are taking that ice cream. It's bihita? No. It's abhita? Okay. What is the phala of ice cream? You like it. Is it delayed? No. You like it immediately. You experience the happiness. So, abhihitam, anyad abhitam, apratisiddham. It is not bihita by Veda, but it is not prohibited. So, there is a gray area. Whether to do it or not, Veda is silent. So, you can do it. Then the result will come to you. But if there's a bihita karma like Swarga Phala, like for example, having a son, the Veda says it takes time. It doesn't happen the next day. Drishta Phala, you took food, you feel good. But if it's a Vedic thing, there is a Apurva Kalpana. There is something called Apurva through which it happens, because it will same time it not give result. You will do a yajna. Next minute you will have a son. No. It has its own time. It can take 1 year, 2 years, whatever. Yes, you will have a son. And then they say, if you are old enough and there is some physical problem with the wife or the husband, Some problem. He's already old, but he did the Putrishti Yaga. Then the Shastra says these two people will be reborn again and marry again because together they have done this karma and they have to. So whether they like it or not, they are going to be reborn again. If they are very loving to each other, it's good. Otherwise, they'll be reborn again. A little quarrel again that will happen, but they'll have a child. Why? Together you have done that kamana sankalpa together. When are you going to escape? So you will come back again. That means whatever you are doing, Bihita karma, has a time span after which it gives results. Abhita or pratisiddha, same time it gives. Okay, results. Natu shastra suditam pratisiddham ba tatkala phalam. Same time, whether pratisiddha karma also you do, what is prohibited, immediately you don't suffer. There is a timeline after which you will suffer. So far Shastra says it. Bhavet yadi tada, and then Swargadishu api adrishta phala sasanecha uttumo na syat. Okay, and then if you say there will be no need at all. If you say that it can give the result same way, you do nitya karma, it gives the same phala, same time. What is the phala? Purva papakhyaya. Then why should Shastra mention do swarga prapti, this, that? You'll get results there and then. Nitya karma is about removing past papa karma. Shastra doesn't say this. You are saying, you are arguing. Now, if you argue like this, there is no vidhi about it. If that is the case, then even why Shastra will waste time doing Swarga Phala Prapti? You do these lot of things because they will give results immediately. Therefore, that's not true. Agnihotaradinam eva kartabhya swarupa avisese anusthana ayasa dukkha matrena upakshayaha. So what happens is Agnihotaradinam eva karma swarupa avishese अनुष्ठान आयास दुख मात्रेण उपत्ययः काम्यानां च स्वर्गादि महाफलत्वम् अंग इति कर्तव्यता इति कर्तव्यादि आधिक्ये तु असति फल कामित्व मात्रेण इति न शक्यं कल्पयितुम्. She is making another technical point here. Now, so far Agnihotradi is nitya karma and kamya karma. Kamya karma, Veda says it will take you to Swarga. You are doing it to go to heaven. Nitya karma, there is no specific follow which I am mentioning. You are imagining that this mention of Nitya karma, that you should do it so if you are alive, will remove your Purva Papa. That's your argument. And therefore, nobody should do any Jnana Sadhana. Only do Nitya karma, avoid Papa karma, don't do Kamya karma, and stay away from Raga Dvesha. Be a stoic, do your Nitya karma, you are happy. Vedanta required is not required at all. Vedanta studies. Not required, don't waste your time. That's your argument. So he's saying that if you're saying there are certain karmas, so far the kena, king bhavet, kena bhavet, katham bhavet. These are the three aspects of any vidhi. Kim bhavet, what to do? Kena bhavet, what is the means? What is the anga? Iti kartavyata, katham bhavet, how to do it, the process. These are the three questions answered by Vedas. Now, so far Agnihotra is mentioned, one is Kamya, the other one is Nitya. So far, Kena Bhavet, Katham Bhavet, more or less same. There is no difference. Now, the same Agnihotra will give you Swarga only because you have done a Sankalpa, and it will become Nitya Karma because you haven't done a Sankalpa. That is your argument, right? But that doesn't hold, he's saying. That is not a very good argument. Why that's not a very good argument? There is no difference in terms of means, the Anga, or upaya, or katham, that iti katham bhavet, how to do it. There is no difference. Just because somebody says, I'm doing it for Swarga, and therefore Swarga phala, and therefore he gets additional thing. That is completely a superfluous argument. Na sakyam kalpaitum. Tasmad na nityanam karmanam adrishta phalabhavaha kadachidapi upapadyate. And then finally he's saying, so please understand this. This is very, very important. You please accept it. Tasmad na nityanam karmanam adrishta phala bhavaha. So you please don't argue that nitya karmas do not have any additional adrishta phala. We Vedantis argue and we accept that nitya karmas have a lot of good result. What is this? They purify your consciousness. And by purifying your consciousness, you have a license to ascend to the next level. You will have some vairagya, you will have some jnana ichha, and then You would like to read Upanishads, you will have Paroksha Jnana, and then you will move towards Pratyaksha. Aparoksha Jnana through Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana starts with Antakarana Siddhi, basic qualification. So you do not say that Nitya Karma doesn't have any Adrishta Phala. So this was a long, long debate through which he is refuting a small argument, a small temptation by some traditional Brahmins who are suspicious of Shankaracharya's proposal that only through jnana you will get liberation. You cannot achieve anything by only doing karma. They are saying, okay, sir, we agree. We do not want to do any kamya karmas because they are traditional Brahmins. They said, okay, we will not do kamya karmas. And as such, we do not do any pratisiddha karmas because we are very traditional, very strong, ritualistic people. Third, we'll also stay away from Ragadvesa because you'll quote from Bhagavad Gita. We agree. We don't want to fight with you on that. We have listened to Lord Krishna. Ragadvesa also will stay away from. Then why are you fighting? We should get liberation. Why? Nitya karmas will help us get rid of the load of all purva papas. Now, the problem they do not understand what happens to the purva punyas. Those things will also, they will also be there, and therefore he is going to answer all that. Papa karmas may go, but punya karmas they'll also give phala. So you have to come back. So without jnana, you are fantasizing you will get liberation. That is completely fictitious. That's a tall order, has no basis in Shastra. So he's saying, तस्मात् न नित्यानां कर्मणाम् अनुष्ठान फलाभावः कदाचिदपि उपपद्यते अतः च अविद्यापूर्वकस्य कर्मणो विद्या एव शुभस्य अशुभस्य. Now, the avidya purvaka, whatever karma you have done in the past, papa, punya, whatever, avidya purvakasya, the karma is happening because of a faulty understanding about who we are. We imagine we are karta, bhukta, we are doing this karma. So it is bheda buddhi paraka. This bheda buddhi parata is actually a vidya thing. It's avidyaka. So avidya purvakasya, you first have to presume there is avidya or ignorance. Then there is kartritva, bhaktritva. Then there is karma sadhana. Good or bad or kami or whatever. Purvakasya karmanaha vidya eva. Only vidya eva. So only knowledge, self-knowledge. Subhasya asubhasya va. So whether it is subha karma or asubha karma, all the impacts, papa punya, only through self-awareness, va khya karanam asesata na nitya karma anushthana. So daily ritualized performance of your daily chores, some Agnihotra, Sandhya Vandanam, bit of offering water to Lord Sun, fasting and ekadasis, these things will not get you out of the heavy load of papa punya, which is staring at you. You are not being able to look at it. But please understand the responsibility of having to nullify and to enjoy the good outcomes and to nullify the bad outcomes of our purva krita papa punya karma will only happen when we realize we are not a limited human agent. We are not different from the Jiva Ishvara Aikya Chetana. Once that happens, then the karmas will evaporate. Why? Because you'll be completely focused on Atma Jnana. You'll do for Lokashangra other things, but your mind will be elevated to a higher level. There is no craving anymore. We are talking about a state in which there is no sweating, there is no fantasizing, there is no kalpana. It's accepting the reality as it is. That is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, as Bhagavan says. You are misinterpreting, trying to bring back through the back door your own Brahmanical obsession with a few karmas as a solution. And please be assured, you are only cheating yourself. That is what Bhagavan says. Then, avidya kama vijami sarvam eva karma. Whatever karma you are doing, whether building a house, writing a book, and playing or anything for name, fame, dharma, artha, kama, forget about mukhya, all other three. They are, what is the seed of that? Why do we do it? Avidya vija, that ignorance. We forget that we are nitya, buddha, suddha, mukta. That is a long way to realize. Even if we are, it's a long way to realize, isn't it? So, that is the biggest problem. Tathacha upapaditam, and that is what is having explained, that has been explained. Avidvat vishayam karma, vidvat vishayacha sarva karma sannyasa purvika jnana nishta. Bhagavan has mentioned that doing this bhakti to me, he gets that sansiddhim, he gets that ultimate thing. What is that? He gets that ultimate thing, that is jnana nishta. Doing nishkama karma, bhakti, then he is establishing jnana nishta. And that jnana nishta will give sakshat mukhya. All other things, paramparaya, in an indirect way. First, we have to come to that checkpoint where you will enter another country. After doing a lot of paperwork, you need, reach that escape velocity, reach that last point, after which gravitation doesn't work on you. So he says that avidvad vishayam karma. All karma is based on a faulty understanding, ignorance, avidya. Vidvad vishayacha sarva karma sannyasa purvika jnana nishta. If once a person is aware of how he has become a kind of a tattvadarshi, then he takes vividisa sannyasa, then sarva karma sannyasa purvika jnana nishta eva, no more karma and rituals. And that is what Shankaracharya has been steadfastly attacking. Of course, he was kind enough to also write some stotras and devotion he accommodated. But the daily rituals and all, he said no, because that will destroy your jnana sadhana beyond a point. Yeah, but without doing, you are reaching there. Sorry. He will say, no, please don't do it. You are not going to reach there because there's going to be a big problem. The biggest problem is like this. You haven't done your coursework. Whatever number of credits you're supposed to complete, you haven't. And then you're suddenly trying to do a PhD, but who will admit you? You haven't finished your coursework. So you do it and come back. Write a good synopsis, defend it, start writing thesis. Right? That's what and have a good guide, which is Acharya or Guru. Ubhau to no vijanita. So those people, Bhagavan says, the one who understands that it kills or it gets killed. The Atma gets killed. They do not know what is the Atma. Veda vinasinam nityam. The one who knows this Atma is avinasi. He is the one who knows the truth. Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. In Bhagavad Gita, he said it earlier. There are two sadhanas in Bhagavad Gita. Bhakti is not specifically mentioned. Bhakti will be part. It's a general approach both in karma yoga and jnana yoga. Karma without bhakti is useless, and jnana without bhakti will not mature. That will be dry. That will be completely, because one has to get kritopasti. Akritopasti jnana sadhana is a longer route. It's dry knowledge. Bhakti is common to both. Therefore, he says, jnana yogena sankhyanam. Sankhya is here what? The analytical minds. Karma yogena yoginam. What is yogi? The niskama karma yogis. So you will do karma yogi. That bhakti is there in both. Ajnanam karma sanginam. So those who are ajnas, they are karma sangis. They are associated with work. Bhagavad Gita, he's summarizing it. Tattva vittu mahavahu. He's saying that. So he just meditates. He's not bothered about anything. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya aste. And then all the sarva karmas mentally he dissociates, drops them away, discards them from the mind. Then he quietly sits. He's no more having any craving. I have to do this puja, do that, do that. He doesn't have any cravings anymore. Naiva kinchit koromiti yukta manyeta tattvavid. I am not doing anything. Even during his Nishkama Karma Yoga, he, switches his ahankara off and then discards it. He removes that chip. Where this ahankara, mamakara, that chip he removes from his thing, throws it. He struggles for a while, but slowly the system starts working. Beginning, it will be a little problematic. It's very easy to mention, but I tell you, this is a long journey. It may not be over in one life, it can take several lives, but that shouldn't make us question, challenge, or suspect the advice in the Shastras. Because this is a noble path, and somewhere I read, and it's a beautiful sentence I read, he said, if you are not in the right direction and you're moving very fast, what are you doing? You are running from away, you are running away from your destination at a faster pace. But you're moving at a slow pace, but your direction is clear. Then you're slowly moving, but you're moving towards your destination, not away from your destination. So it's very important to have the direction right. Pace can vary, fine. Whether it's one life or two lives or 20 lives, how does it make a difference? But we should be in the right path. So all these things that we are not having it in one life, Ved padh ke kya hoga, nothing, let's go do this, that, some karmas, they give you, yes, karmas give quick results. Bhagavan has himself said, but they also bind us. The only way to do karma, the karma becomes yoga when it is done without sankalpa, without ahankara, mamakara, and with Ishvara Arapana Buddhi. That is the technique of doing karma. If we are able to do it, that's fine. Otherwise, we are adding to the loan account only. We are not adding to the credit account, which is the punya account. Therefore, arthat agyaha karomi iti, and therefore only the ignorant does it. Arurukyo karma karanam. Arurukyo, munir yoga karanam uchyate. Arurukyo karma karanam. Arudhasya yogastasya sama eva karanam. So if you're saying, what is the purpose? What is the sadhana? If somebody is aspiring to be established in the samadhi avastha, he's not yet arudha, he's not yet having completely suddhanta karana, he has to do nishkama karma yoga. Why? There is a lot of impurity. It needs to be dusted, karma prescribed. But once you have cleaned it up, okay, start meditating. There's nothing to be worried about. Udaraha trayaha api agyaha jnani. So atma eva me matam. So he mentioned all my devotees are udaras. He says, all of them are very dear to me. I love them, my devotees. But api agyaha jnani to atma eva me matam. However, the first one, the artha artharthi jigyasu, they are also udara. They're not dear to me. Who is dear to me? The fourth one. Who? The jnani. Because he sees himself as part of me. He doesn't have anything. Mat paraha. I am the ultimate thing for him. So you of the three cannot. The Jigyasu may be a great professor, might write books and this and that, but he can't compare himself with the Jnani. Because the Jnani is a different ballgame. He's transforming himself. He's all the time meditating on me. And I shall never discard him. And he can never forget me. Because I'll not let him forget me. That Bhagavan has assured us. Agyaha karminaha gatagatam kama kama labhante. So kama. So because those who are anatmagnyas, they are doing karmas, gatagatam. They'll go, they'll die, they'll be reborn, and then kama, and they will get all these. Okay, and what are the others? Whatever they desire, they'll get the results. Some good, some bad. Ananyaha chintayoto mang nityayuktaha yatoktam atmanam akasakalapam akalmasam upasate. And the other people who are verily invested in me, they're all the time thinking of me. Ananya chintayote mang paripasate. So I liberate them, I pick them up. So these guys is saying they are nityayuktaha. They're all the time in that samadhi avastha, meditating on me that I mentioned earlier. They know me not as Murali Basuri, Basuri Vadak Lord Krishna, but Sarvam Vasudevam iti Atmanam Akasa Kalpam. That means Sarva Vyapi. And Akalmasam, and there is no papa in them, Upasate. Okay. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. And then I have also already mentioned, I give them that buddhi yoga. First they do this, and then they reach that jnana nishtha. Buddhi yoga is this karma yoga, isn't it? With a good understanding, you're doing it with Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, and then ultimately, arthat na karminaha agya upayanti. So through the na karminaha agya upayanti, and therefore they cannot get me. The agyanis cannot get it. Who can do it? That end of the day, who does this analysis, who meditates on me after nishkama karma, then they will do upasana, then completely saranagati, jnana nishtha, then they will get it. It's a result of the buddhi yoga. Okay, so there are a few more, another 6-7 pages. I think we need another 2 classes, or maybe 1 class to finish this particular verse, and then the rest is very easy. Okay. Bhagavat karmakarino ye yuktatama api karminaha agyaha te uttorottara hina falatyaga avasana sadhanaha. And then those who are doing Bhagavat Artha Karma, for God, they're doing some. And they are very yuktatama, they're very dear to me, they're perfect in that yoga, even then. Because they are karmis, okay? And then, therefore, they are Agyanis because they have Bheda Buddhi. There are two kinds of bhaktas, Jnani bhaktas and Ajnani bhaktas. The Ajnani bhaktas have Dvaita Buddhi, Bheda Buddhi. So they will do worship Lord Krishna, then they will do Tera Mera in their everyday life. The Jnani bhaktas, he does love Lord Krishna, but he's meditating on the Vedanta Mahavakyas and he studies the Upanishads. His ball game is different. He's doing puja for quick acceleration of his self-realization. But the one who is not touched by the rich wisdom in the Upanishads does puja, he's Ajnani. Ajnani from the Vedantic point of view. And he stays there. Then what happens with him? So, because even if he will have to do a lot of sadhanas from this chitta samadhi and then karma phala tyaga in the end, Bhagavan says. You have to dump all the karma phalas you are having. You have concentration, then you do a lot of sadhana. But until you are able to discard all the karma phalas, they will do all these lower level sadhanas. And these are very difficult, but remember, much inferior to Jnana Nishtha. Bhagavan has glorified the karma yogis, isn't it? He said he's Vishishta, the one who doesn't nishkama karma but runs away because of fear of stress and stress in doing his everyday life. He is a mithyachara. He has mentioned all that. He has glorified these ajnanis, those who are matparaha. They are trying to surrender themselves, taking care of their family. These are all great. But ultimately, he says, the ultimate message is Sarva Dharmam Paritejya Mamekam Saranam Gacha. And not as one person and you are different. Establish yourself in the self. Therefore, Bhagavan says they will do a lot of sadhanas, but they are inferior to the Jnana Nishtha. We'll take it up, and whatever limited commentary is there, we'll try to wind it up tomorrow. So, if you have any questions, or you can do the Santi Mantras, and thank you for joining on a Sunday. And any questions, or I'm bringing it an end to the YouTube.